Did I see that Alberto is here?
Yeah, hello, Anne.
Hi, how are you? Good to see
Not too
you.
bad.
We're in the middle of a heat wave here in Vancouver. It's very hot.
Not so bad in Italy.
Oh, good. Well, it's not as hot as Bangkok, but for us, it's very hot.
The hot season, right? Or the very hot season.
Very much hotter than usual. Usually our summers are not this hot, but this year they are.
Yeah.
It's nice
By
that you.
By conditions.
That's right.
So,
That's right.
it's good to know that.
Yes, it's really good.
It's not by.
Ajahn is ready, so. สวัสดีค่ะ
Ajahn.
สวัสดีค่ะ
ท่านอาจารย์ and everyone
สวัสดีครับอาจารย์ครับ
สวัสดีค่ะทุกคนค่ะ
How many people do we have?
Can you hear me?
Yes อาจารย์ we can hear you
Yes.
There's Alberto Azita Sundara Nofado Kang and I and just I think that's all and Ajahn so I
Well, that's good. That's a good number. I can't tell on my phone. Does anyone have any questions or points they'd like to start by raising?
If no one have question, I can have a question.
Brilliant, great.
Okay. All right. So I've been having a discussion with a friend, and there's a topic about upadana. And I like to understand a bit more about there's a 4 types of upadana, but the one at the moment I like to understand a bit further is Ditthuppadana. Ditthuppadana. I hope I got it right. Can you hear me, Ajahn?
Yes, I can hear you. Are you talking about the 4 upadana?
Correct, Ajahn. Yes.
Okay. What is the first one again, please?
I think the first one is Kamu.
Patana. The combination of the word kama and upadana. So it is kamu patana.
Padana. Yeah.
So we have to understand what are kama. There are 2 meanings of kama. One is attachment itself, and the other is the object of attachment, which is sensuous object. For example, that we've seen is object of attachment instantly when there's no understanding, unknowingly as asava. But asava cannot be known because it's so very slight, very little. But when it's kilesa, it can be moment of understanding that there is attention to that as something. And then there is the clinging to the object which is there. For example, seeing sees that which is now appearing. There is attachment to that object as upadana, cling so much that it is something all the time. And when it's kama, we like it so much. It's so pleasant, like the diamond and the music and so on. And it at that moment shows up, it's clinging too much about the kama, the aramana, which is there as sensuous object. Is it there now? The painting is so very beautiful instantly.
Yeah.
And what is there? The sound, the music is so sweet. So sweet. What does it mean? Clinging with upadana to that object. Any time, any moment when something is there, a sensuous object, it depends on the kilesa. There are altogether 9 groups of kilesa. depending on its nature. For example, for upadana, the object of clinging and the clinging itself. At moment when one clings, I am speaking. I see, I like, I hate, I'm so happy, I'm so unhappy. All are there as I, clinging very much to any moment of what is there, unknown as it's just conditioned reality, and it's there appearing, but when it does not appear, where is it? Never thought about it. It gone, never to arise again at all. Eons and eons ago, never be the same. So we take what is there from birth as I experience so many different things, including thinking about the way it is as the world and so on. And then death, nothing more about what has happened, because the next moment is not this person again, newly born as someone as new person, attached to that which is there again and again and again as upadana, clinging to karma, clinging to bhava, no matter what life it is, there's clinging to that being as I. Never change the idea to leave it to have some other power. So now the power of being a human being is so very satisfied. Never think about wanting to go to heaven quickly next moment or so on at all. And when the understanding of the wrong understanding, taking that for something permanent, I and someone, it is ditthi, tittu padana, tittu which is upadana, and attavatupadana, it's I. No matter what happened, it's I. I'm sick, I'm good, I'm bad, or so on. See, all there in life, each moment unknown, is gone, arising and falling away so very quickly. And the idea is just on that which appear and not thought about that which has gone at all. That each moment is just like that. Is that true?
Yes, Ajahn.
Right. Yes, and that is right, Titti, Sammadidi. But it's only the idea, the conventional understanding about what is there now as that which is seen. But still it appears as something is seen, not only that which is seen at all, but it's always something, moment of hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, and thinking. That's why be truthful, satya barami, to the truth, as it's there by conditions and falls away, and the other reality follow instantly. How can it be known that that which is now seen is gone if there's no other reality, not the one which has seen at all? Little by little, just attend to the words about the truth carefully to have understanding, right understanding of the truth of it. Last moment gone, no thought about it. And even right now, it's gone, no thought about it. But it can be object of considering again and again and again in daily life. That's why the understanding has to be moment of experiences, what which has been taken for something, to know the truth. It's just that visual object, sound, gone instantly. So the continuation of the arising and falling away so very rapidly condition the nimitta, the marks, the shape, the form of something to be taken for permanent, that object as is there. For example, right now, The purse, the bed, the curtain, all are there. No understanding of actually seeing just experiences that which is seen, that which is seen, no shape, no form, that which impinged on the eye base and it conditioned seeing and gone. The meaning of ayatana, no matter we talk about different objects, but one moment there must be the conditions for whatever arises. The meeting point, the meeting moment, there is hardness, but at moment, hardness is not there, which is seen and seeing, and the ibis, and the cetasika. That's why each word has moment, has its meaning to be understood at different moments, talking by different aspects to understand more and more about the truth. It's just a reality, it's conditioned and in gone. No one there at all. This is upadana. The four upadana, not only just the clinging to that which is sensuous object appeared. Is there upadana now? See, is there asava now? Is there anusaya now? All there unknown. That's why life goes on, each moment arises and falls away in succession, so very rapidly, non-stop. No one can stop the conditions to condition what is there right now. As long as it is anusaya, even it does not arise, it conditions the reality to experience that object to arise with attachment or whatever is there, just right now, unknown, until each one is known, little by little, until it can be realized, the Four Noble Truths, the Four Ariya Satya-Dhamma. Just talk about this moment. Any moment in life, in a day, in a year, in the whole life, and next life. Is it true?
Yes, yes, Ajahn. Thank you. Thank you, Ajahn, so much for your explanation. So it is clearer to me about the Kamupadana, which is you mentioned about the clingings and objects of clinging. But the second one, I'm not quite clear yet. The Ditupadana. I feel I got mixed up between that and the Atta Upadana. Like I can't distinguish the two just yet.
It's not just thinking about the differences, but it is moment of understanding that what is there, as we heard, is every moment in life. For example, while one is having lunch, is the Kamupadana, the plate, the fork, the food, the smell, and so on, object of clinging. The food is so very, very delicious, see, object of clinging. And even it's not delicious, it's object of clinging as I experience that, I all the time. Attavadupatana. At moment of dressing, it's like kamupadana, what should be wear that morning, and so on and so on. All day, the shoes and everything put on. That's why understanding Dhamma is moment of understanding the truth of what is there now, not just the word, but the nature of the moment of different realities are there. To be known, hardness is there, not my leg, not my arm, not anything, not television, not microphone. See, hardness is there in truth. So what are that experience has to be through one of the six doorways, only one at a time. No matter in what world, only six, depending on whether what world has just condition for only four or one or whatever, by conditions. Learning to understand the truth, to be this person is only in this life, nevermore. As last life, not this person, next life is not this person at all. Forget everything that now experienced.
Thank you, Ajahn. Yes, thank you for your reminder again about understanding what that is now, not like wording what that is. Can you also give me example of Dittu Padana at this moment? How do I understand?
That's right. There are two kinds of deity, wrong understanding and right understanding, opposite nature. What is that is not known in daily life. It's there to be known at moment when it's there. Dhamma is not aware from this moment, right now, any moment, this moment, this moment.
Yep. So at the moment of not having correct understanding, then there can be wrong understanding, incorrect understanding.
When there's understanding, there is less covering of the truth by avijja, ignorance, and attachment. That's the only way to eliminate the avijja and attachment. Now, is at the point of listening to the truth.
Sorry, Ajahn, but did you ask me what is the point of listening to the truth? Is that right?
To the truth of what is there right now, to understand the truth. The truth is the truth. But when there no considering what Buddha taught about the truth, no one can have one's own idea about the truth of it, that it's not permanent at all. It's there so impermanent. Otherwise, it cannot let go the idea of I or something, or someone, or the world.
So without hearing and understanding, there will be taking impermanence for permanence, which is the world and everything around us is permanent, lasting. Yeah, and then non-self or soul. Yep, I understand about that a little bit, but still I like to have, if you can give me example of the second type of Upadana, Ajahn, please.
Kind of upadana,
Yes,
what is it?
the Dittu Upadana.
Titupadana,
Upadana. Yes.
any moment, what is there? It's a pillow. What is the pillow? The pillow is there all the time, permanent, but in truth, without that which is conditioned to arise on and on and on from moment to moment, seeing, thinking, there cannot be any pillow at all. Titi is wrong understanding, and upadana is clinging, the object clinging so much to that object all the time. As I see a rose now, and many roses see, how come? From that which impinge on the eye, and the eye experience only visible object. Different ones condition different petal of a rose or leaf and on and on. So very, very instant. That's why one closes one's eye, nothing appears. But as soon as the eye opens, how many things are there appearing right now? But it has to impinge on the eye base. Otherwise, seeing cannot see it. Just a dot, 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 dot. No understanding, which is so very rapidly. It appears as something. The leaf, the rose, the pillow, the bed, the curtain, and so on. Is this true? So wrong understanding, taking something, is atta, attvadupadana. So very naturally, in the day, years and years ago, and years on ahead in the future. And the only moment of understanding the truth can develop to be firmer and firmer and firmer. Adidana parami, that is so true. And since it's so true, it can be realized, but not by anyone, but by right understanding, begin to understand the truth. Gradually, not forget about the truth at all. So it's there. The understanding, even at the very beginning of the truth, it's now. We don't have to go away and look for the truth. The truth is right now. It's the beginning of understanding what is true. Seeing is real. It now sees. What is seen cannot be anything at all, only that which is seen in one moment, and then other moment, on and on, so very quickly. How quick it is. Just open one's eyes, all are there, seen. That's why the truth is hidden, because no understanding of the truth of what is there at all, years and years ago, and just begin to listen, to understand what is right and what is wrong. If there's no seeing, how can there be that which is seen? Different realities arise and fall away instantly. And when this is firm, it hasn't been forgotten to continue on understanding the truth of what is there. Even it does not appear as it is yet, but more considering, wiser and wiser, firmer and firmer, understand the difference between that which appears. The sight or the visible object is not the sound, it's not the smell. So it has to be different moments, from moment to moment. No understanding of anything at all, just living in darkness, even so bright, so light, but no understanding of it at all. So the darkness of understanding, of ignorance of whatever is there, cannot see or understanding anything at all. But understanding begins to understand the truth. And since so true right now, it can be realized, but not just thinking or dreaming about how come can I be like moment of experiencing the Four Noble Truths. But the teachings of the truth from the Buddha conditioned right understanding from the very beginning, just of one word to another word, another word. And the moment of understanding is moment of begin to understand, to get closer to the way it is. What is there is only one reality, arising and falling away by conditions, all by conditions. Each moment is by conditions. Learn to understand that because Dhamma is Dhamma, the truth is the truth, the reality cannot be changed. That is the only way to let go. Wrong understanding of I am seeing, I likes, I dislikes, so on. Is that worthwhile?
Tanajanka.
Yes.
Just may I make it, may I talk to this point a little bit to Leanne, because I think it's not an easy area to tease out. Leanne, just a couple of points here. Your question seems to revolve around the difference between Kamupadana and Dittupadana. I'd just like to
No,
speak a little bit.
I think, Kun Sundara, I think my question is more about the difference between Dittu Padana and Asava. Oh, sorry, Attava. I can't say that word. Attavadu Padana, something like that.
Upadana.
Yeah.
Okay, Tanajan, but let's before look, I just want to say a couple of points. And I think it's a very good question. There about, because around the word, use the word karma, it can be confusing because I notice some people at times use the word karma when they're talking about action or deed, whereas the Pali word is kamma. Now we live in the karma loka, which is the world of sensuality. I think I want to make this point, that which is we're very much, it's the world, you can say the world of karma, which actually relates to the English word carnality. It's the world of sensuous objects. I think that's maybe a useful point to consider because people often hear this word often used karma, which is the Pali, whereas the Pali word is kamma, different from karma, which relates to karma loka, and it may be confusing for people when they hear that word. But I think that's a very good question. And before I continue, I would like Tanajan to speak to the difference between Attva Upadana and Dittupadana. How would you differentiate those, Tanajan Cup? I'm not sure.
Yes, okay. Is there someone now?
Well, in conventionally speaking, of course, there is someone, but as in the
Okay.
ultimate,
So that person died just now. See, the person died and no more. The end of this life, no birth, no condition at all. Some has the idea that just arise, just birth and death or are there, no more. Is that idea of someone? Or I will go to somewhere to pay respect and then I'll be in such and such plane. Is that idea? The wrong idea can be anything about paying respect to this or to the tree in Thailand, to anything, and ask for what they'd like to have.
right?
Tiddupadana, not
Yes.
only Attavadupadana. Any kind of wrong practice or wrongdoing Just frame
Okay.
ask for something from someone that can make everything they wish to be true and so on. That is strong understanding. Dittu Patana. They believe that that's the way to get something they like to have.
And so can we say that Atua Upadana and Dittu Upadana, they're almost they're not the same.
It's a cause of all kinds of ditthi.
So, but still, I'm trying to
water and all evil gone and so on. See,
true. So that was obviously wrong practice and a wrong understanding of Dhamma. We know though that sometimes when we're with people, when we have some understanding of Dhamma, that because there will, for example, with Loba Mula Citta, we know that Ditti doesn't always arise. It rises with Ditti and it can rise without Ditti. Now, and we know, of course, that Sotapanna or others, other Arya Pugala, they can see people and wherever they're going, and they will have no wrong view. And there must be times too when wrong view doesn't arise when we are out in the world doing this or that. It doesn't always arise. So that might be going to the point that Leanne is making here, that sometimes it doesn't arise, sometimes it does. When, as you said, the people in whatever country, they think that by getting in the water or going to see a tree or something, that is obviously a wrong practice, and it will involve Dittu Padana, probably, or Atua Upadana. So I'm not so clear between the difference between Atua Upadana and Dittu Padana.
because some people still have the idea of I, but do not pray to the tree or go to Paris
Right. Okay.
Take a bath in the river.
Okay. Yes. So you're saying one is much stronger than the other.
That's why even there's no Ditupadana or Silapatupadana as worshipping the dog or eat like the dog and so on, that still is the idea of Attavatupadana. So when there's no Upadana, Attavatupadana, no other deity at all.
Right. So just to clarify there, Tanajan, you're talking about Silawa Upadana. That's those people in the Buddha's time who behaved like a dog or behaved like a cow, and that is that kind of Upadana. That's correct? You just used the word Silawa Upadana. So you brought another concept into, or another Dhamma into the equation which you're talking about. So when you say Silawa Upadana, what are you talking about there?
Do you believe in Creator?
No, Tanajan.
But it's I who do not believe.
Yeah, that's true. So that's an example of Silawa Upadana. If I believed in a creator.
The second type, I thought, Sunura, I thought that would be the second type, because only if there's a wrong practice, believing in, I'm doing this in order to, lead to enlightenment or liberation, then that would be the third one, which is a Silaba to Padana.
Oh,
But like believing in Creator.
Yes, okay, that's right.
I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, and I need a confirmation from Ajahn.
I'll let the Tanajan speak to that then. Yeah, because it's also important, as Tanajan speaks about from time to time, that sila relates to behavior of chitta, and that would make that would add that seems true to me. Obviously, if you believe that doing some strange behavior, what we would call strange behavior, that would lead to your enlightenment, like prostrating before a tree or something like that, that is obviously not in accordance with Dhamma. Leanne, you've got them there. What are those? What are the upadanas that you've got there? So you've got sila upadana. What are the ones? What are the other ones, please?
What's your question, Sunara? I'm not quite understand your question yet.
Well, I thought you because Tanajan was asking you about the different upadanas. Can you clarify what they are?
Yeah, so I know there's 4 types.
Yes. Okay. What are those 4?
The Kamupadana, the
Karma.
Ditupadana, and then Silabatupadana, and
right.
then Attavatupadana.
Okay.
But I think that will lead to my next question. I haven't got this clear yet, but I will have another question about the next one, which is what's the differences or between Kanda Upadana and Attava Upadana, or they're the same, like that would be my next one.
I'm not too sure where you're coming from. When you talk about Kanda, that doesn't seem to be
Kanda.
Sorry?
Kanda.
Kanda, that's not one of the upadanas, although Kanda, well, the Kandas are objects of clinging.
Yeah.
The Kandas, so I'm a bit confused what you're saying there.
Right.
Because
but maybe we can leave it for a bit later, because now I still wanna check whether I got the right understanding about the second type of upadana. I read a bit, and it says like if there is attachment, clinging to the idea that everything is permanent, or the other way around, end of this life there will be nothing left, then those believer are a type of the second type of upadana, which is the Ditu Padana. I just want to clarify whether that is correct. The reason why I'm asking those, because there's a teaching from a Buddhist monk, senior Buddhist monk, saying that out of the 4 types of upadana, the most serious one, difficult one to eradicate, would be the second type, the Ditu Padana, not the 4th type, which is the Attava Padana. Why? Because the second type, the clinging, the attachment to the wrong idea, like thinking that we have the right understanding, is hard to change, because you wouldn't listen to anyone you wouldn't want to change. Whereas the 4th type, if people pointed out to you that's the wrong view, and you can change. That's the teaching. I mean, it doesn't. I mean, I understand where that come from, based on the way we're explaining things, like in the story, conventional way. But talking about the reality, talking about when we talk about reality, when we talk about the absolute truth, then that's a different story.
I think, Leanne, that the first one was the most difficult, really, to understand. That's Kamupatana, that how insidious it is. I think they're all interrelated together. All the upadanas, the more understanding there is, and this is what Tanajana is always pointing us towards, that there's not an understanding of the Dhamma that appears at this present point in time, will it be it seeing, hearing, thinking, which must be arising at this particular point in time, then this will bleed into all sorts of other misunderstandings, especially Dittupadana. So Kamupadana, I would say, without a doubt, is the most difficult, because even Sotapanna still has attachment. They still have Kamupadana arising from moment to moment, or regularly in their lives, we can safely say, until you're Arahatta. So development of the path is learning to have a better understanding, which will lead initially to your eradication of wrong view. And this is where Tanajana alluded to this a moment ago, the ditti. Of course, we can have samma ditti, which is right understanding, but some people, by way of certain types of practices, whether it's be walking slowly or going to a certain place, that will evolve at a certain level. It must evolve at a certain level, dittupadana. So this is regularly in people who haven't heard the Dhamma and considered it carefully, will often be arising, as will be attupadana from time to time. But let us, Tanajan, would you please continue with that? Because I don't think it's an area that's easy to clarify or easy to tease apart.
Thank you, Sir.
Something wrong with the phone, so I cannot hear very well. But I think that you're talking about different kinds of ditti, but the base for all kinds of wrong view is the attavadubadana, because you see that we do believe now that it's something there when there's no understanding at all about what is seen, what is touched, and so on. That's why someone would say, I know that it's not permanent or it cannot be taken for I, but for someone, they think that there must be the I. Or someone say that it has to do or to practice in order to just understand what is there. But it's not right understanding of that words of teaching about how he developed parami so long to be able to realize the truth. And after his realization, he said, Dhamma is so very subtle. Just this word is the practicing something by sitting, concentrating, thinking about it, can condition understanding the subtle moment now of a reality. For example, seeing. We talk about seeing a lot every time. Why? Because it can condition moment of not think about other thing, but think about the subtlety of seeing right now. Even it's there sees, but it cannot be realized. It's just by thinking that it is a reality, it's not I. That's why there are so many different kinds of ditti. At that very moment, one says that there must be I. See, it's not as the person who just learned to understand what is I, is wrong understanding, because seeing is seeing, hearing is hearing, and Buddha taught about the Four Noble Truths. 3 rounds. And what round is there now? Pariyatti, not Patipatti, not Pativeda. Because if there is no firm confidence of the truth as Pariyatti, how can it be conditioned for that which we take for sati to arise? That's why learn about the truth of each word. Why? In order to let go gradually, Yes ได้ยินหรือเปล่า Sorry.
No, it's okay, Tanachan. We can still hear you.
So now, can there be a little more understanding of what's right and what's wrong? Not to have the Attvadupadana, Titupadana, because Bhavatu Upadana and the Kamupadana is so strong, pretty deeply accumulated to see something as something, and I am seeing that and that and that. See, that's why only right understanding can understand the subtle truth of what is there right now. It arises and falls away, and the only way not to try to do anything, but is there enough understanding to gradually let go of the avijja and attachment.
Is that a little bit clearer, Leanne?
Yeah. Thank you, Tanachan. Yes, it's a bit clearer for me. Yeah, I see Azita turn on camera. I don't know if Azita want to say something. No, no. I think it's just because when I came into the discussion with an idea that the second type, the Ditthuppadana, is about attachment to an idea. Like we cling so strongly into our own idea of what is right. So, and because of that,
Yes, certainly. We can certainly say that, Leanne. We really cling on to our version of the truth. That's what's happening at those moments. And because we have got that accumulated tendency to do that, and we haven't heard there are people who do hear the right teaching, but still cling on to their types of behaviors, which will involve obviously not only ditti, but also kamupadana or lopa. So they'll be happening at different moments, different types of attachment, wanting to go to the quiet place, and which will be founded upon this idea of somebody who can do something, but they don't obviously see it that way. They see it very differently. They see it's important that they do this, which contradicts the Dhamma. It's very difficult for them. Well, it's impossible for them to see that at that particular moment.
yeah. Yep. Thank you for that.
I don't think these areas are easy to tease apart. I think Tanajan would always remind us, as others would, that there are realities appearing, and that can lead to the eradication of these different types of different types of clinging. There's different types of taking hold of what we think is true, in actual fact is not.
I think Ajahn comment. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Anne. Please go ahead.
That's
I-
perfectly.
Found John's comment that the base of all kinds of wrong view is atta, sense that there must be an I. And when she mentioned it, I can see that more. Dittupadana. I mean, one of the wrong views there is that there is a self, there is an I, there is someone, something that can control. Because the Dittupadana seems, well, at least what I'm taking from it is that Dittupadana is very broad and encompasses, I may have misunderstood Attavadupadana, but it seems that comes under the Dittupadana, or they're so much the same. They're very, very much the same.
Well,
I mean that wrong. I don't know.
Do we have to say anything or understanding what's there at that moment? As it's not self at all, no matter it's right view or wrong view or anything. The truth is that as long as it's known that it's just the reality which arises and experiences the object, there's still the idea of I. See, I like whatever is there. But no need to say that it's this or that level. But as still as it's there, it conditions many different levels of wrong understanding or anything. Very, very subtle attachment and very, very strong attachment, all are there. To be known that they are all Dhamma, which experiences the object. If we don't know the nature of the reality, which is different, because the moment of experiencing the object and the moment when that which is there, which cannot experience the object, are not known as what they are. They are different. If there is no understanding of the nature of the reality at that moment, that it's the reality which experiences the object, no matter what is there, is taken for I. I like, I understand, and so on. And hardness is something very crisp, cake or fruit or whatever is there all the time. So since there's no understanding of the nature of what is there as it is, no matter what, it experiences the object. And the reality which is there, even it does not experience the object, it is experienced and is the object of clinging, taking for something very delicious, very good, and on and on. That's why we learn to understand that even the reality which arises and experiences the object is different. Otherwise, they are all there together. So it's something or I. That's why we learn about the citta, the chief of experiencing the object, because does it appear to be known or it's hidden each moment. When anger is there, it's still my anger. But if it's moment of understanding the reality which experiences and get angry with that object, take it for someone or something. See, learn to understand the nature of reality, not just about the story of it, because it's there. Even its different levels, it's there. Different level. It can be known one by one moment to understand the difference between even attachment. It's different. As soon as one opens one's eye, it's there. I see. But more than that, at moment of experience the same object, but attachment is there to that object, different degrees. See, this is true in daily life. Each moment are taken as I, and wrong understanding that it is something or someone or some place all the time. Birth and death and on as something. That's why we learn about the truth, to develop the understanding of the truth of what is there in each moment. It's there to be known, but without considering carefully, how can it be known as even its anger or attachment or ignorance if there's no understanding from the very beginning that they are different, but they are all that which is conditioned to arise and falls away? How come to understand the truth of no one, not I? It's only moment when there is the understanding of the nature of what is there. That's why it's so subtle. It's beyond anyone's thought about how to understand it, how to realize it. It's not how, but it's the moment of understand the truth. What is there? Gradually, little by little, and understand the truth that even if they're now seeing, not enough to let go the idea of self, until right understanding develops from hearing, considering. That is the moment of letting go when there is understanding. But when it's wrong way, studying for just I would like to know, I would like to understand, it's still I. That's why we learn about each reality is so very subtle. Even it's there now, hardness is not yet understand the truth. It's there when it's experienced and no more. No one, no finger, no word at all. Otherwise, we just cling to the idea of I, would like to understand this or that. It's moment of attachment, very, very subtle. Dear enemy, never be aware, always there by conditions. So, in order to understand the levels of wrong view, it's there at that moment, understanding the nature of that reality, the only way to know that it's wrong, it's there, it's not true. For example, try to understand, to practice. The point is to realize the truth, but the truth is there at that moment. Thinking about doing, it's there already. That's why only understanding, little by little, it let go, wrong understanding. At that very moment, nothing to be done, all by conditions. Learn about the truth of different moments. What is sati? It's not just vitaka. What is the different moment of kusala and moment of akusala? To understand a little more about the truth of what is there in a moment. Otherwise, it's only still idea. I study, understanding, understands. Until understanding or ignorance or attachment are real because they are a reality, different ones. Otherwise, it's just condition, moral concern about this and that. And what about Nivarana? And what about Upadana? See, they are there in life not just to be learned, but to understand the nature of it. Different realities which experience the object, all of them cannot be taken for anyone permanent or someone or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so we have to understand more, that's all.
yeah. I think I really appreciate Tanajan that clarification or those clarifications. And just thinking out loud here that all these dhammas are here and now, Leanne, and that when we try to work them out, it's not particularly helpful. it's a very development of understanding is a very gradual process. And like Tanajan was just speaking about the dear enemy, which we don't see mostly as the dear enemy, which of course is attachment, and will obviously involve different levels of kamupadana, ditupadana, atuaupadana. They're all there at different moments. But if we try to work them out, we will not understand them. They are dhammas, and Ajahn mentioned nivaranas also. So that's another aspect of different types of akusala, which don't contribute to the development of understanding, but they are there in our daily life at different levels and in different ways. So the more understanding there is of the different dhammas that appear, then there is a better understanding of what the dear enemy is and who the dear enemy is. And of course, we're talking about lobha, which is very, very insidious and sometimes quite gross, but it's there. And so there is the opportunity in life to begin to understand these different dhammas rather than trying to work them out, because I think by trying to work them out, we will not develop understanding. Useful to know about, but I don't think we'll ever really be able to understand by trying to think them out. That won't happen.
Well, although saying that, Sundara, I do think Leanne's question was very good. It helped me. I think she's, really trying to pinpoint. So yeah, anyway, that's all I need to say. I think it was a really good question, Leanne. Thank you.
And yeah, and I totally agree with that. I guess what Tanajan was mentioning was that they are realities that are appearing. And while the question, I agree, is useful, it's understanding that it's not the question itself, which the questioning in itself, which will lead to understanding. It's quite a subtle area, because I think it can precipitate, help discussion, appreciate Dhamma more. But if we just try to work it out, and I think that's the point that Tanajan was making, that by trying to work it out, then we can sometimes make the development of understanding more difficult, because we think it may be about working out. And I'm not saying that's what people think, but it's a good reminder, I think, that was given to us by Tanajan, that we can't just try and work it out by thinking it through. But the question itself, I agree, Azita, is useful.
Thank you so much, Sundara, for pointing that out. And also, of course, Ajahn, for pointing it out to me that it's not learning the Dhamma, learning about the truth. It's not about working out, what that is, but rather understand what they are at this moment. So I appreciate that and totally agree with that. But I think the reason why I come up with this question was because of how when the Upadana translated to Vietnamese, the second type is like people take it as hold on if you hold on to your idea, then that's the most difficult barrier for understanding, for mental development. Whereas here, when we in our Dhamma discussion, we always stress the importance of understanding about non-self, about anatta. We always say that is the priority, that's the most important aspect of the Dhamma that we need to, and the most subtle part of the Dhamma that we need to understand. That is something that prevent the path, the development of the path. So
Yeah,
because of that point, from the, what I've heard, the teaching from like senior monk I told you. So they said, understand about anatta is not that important compared to straight, because that's not as the most difficult hurdle as the second title Upadana. I don't know if that's the reason why I want to learn more, and because I don't know if I can express myself, clearly enough for people to get my point, because sometimes I go round and around. But that's the reason why I asked that question. A very senior monk teaching and saying, wrong understanding about the soul is not as severe, not as serious as the second type upadana. Hang on, hold on, clinging to your wrong idea. Because if you got that cleared up, then, you can easily pick up and understand and correct your soul and have a right understanding. So that's the why I understand that. I came up with that question. But yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate all the explanation from Ajahn Sundara. Yeah, thank you. I think I take a lot of.
Yeah, Leanne, I think, we're often reminded about the only reality to be known, really known by understanding, is whatever arises now. So rather than trying to work out, the big differences between these upadanas, like if there's wrong view of a practice or of me, it's a matter of knowing the moment. Okay, this is wrong view. And that comes after, that's well developed panya. But the emphasis I like coming from these discussions is now is the only reality that can be known. So whatever it is, lopa, dosa, clinging, well, lopa is clinging, any of the realities that arise now, thinking, seeing, touching, these are the realities that arise here and now, and they're the ones that can be known. It's good, as I think Sundra's pointed out, having this intellectual understanding of what it is, but along with that is present moment, knowing the present moment. So I don't know if that helps.
Yes, very true. Very true.
The temptation to work things out is so strong because we've been, quote, working things out all of our lives. But, looking at and understanding the Dhamma, there's no we to do it. We know that. Understanding works its way. I find if I take those two expressions, trying to work something out, and there's no one to work it out. The only thing that's going to work is understanding. And then when there's more understanding, I'm thinking that all these subtle differences, as understanding grows, the understanding of these subtle differences and levels of this and that will become apparent to panya, not to us by trying. And yeah, it's so tempting to look at the differentiation between one word and another, but really, it comes down to understanding.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Anne, that Intl.Dhamma often talks about this aspect of let understanding, and you've just alluded to this, let understanding work its way, and it works its way in secret. I appreciate that expression that Tanajan uses, that there is a working away of the different work, or there is a deeper understanding being developed secretly in a way without our knowing, because ultimately there is no our knowing. There is an appreciation of Dhamma that grows gradually, and it's not something that, we've spoken about that often this morning, this working it out, which was something that we will always try to do at some level or another, and it's a very easy hole to fall into. But if there is confidence in the Dhamma that appears, and there are always Dhammas as appearing, as Zita also was alluding to, that they are the foundation on which understanding grows, whatever that reality is. And the more appreciation of this and the more confidence in this, the more firm that understanding is, the better for the growth of understanding. It all comes together in that way. And never to diminish the aspect of questioning the Dhamma at different levels, because that in itself can be a condition. Not necessarily the questioning, but it can lead on to a better understanding of what ultimately needs to be done.
Thank you, Ajahn. Sunra, Zita, and Anne.
Would anybody else like to make a comment there, or do they have a question? Alberto, would you like to add to this conversation?
Yeah, thank you, Sundar. Yeah, thinking about how easy it is to forget about the reality and think about the situation and the circumstances and the person and this and that. And it's just so almost impossible to retain the teachings, even the meaning of the words of the teaching, because of instantly of the anusaya, of the asava of including the asava of from you, is there instantly. So I don't think the point is to work out, as has been pointed out, to work out the reality, but to let go of the idea of I have ditthi, I have or I don't like to have ditthi, which is more common than I have ditthi, but ditthi is there anyway. So this sort of resistance to see it as it is, because of the self which takes it for having something which is which as the very influential monk says is bad to have. So the very influential monk says get rid of it, and it's already going the wrong way by having the idea of following some teachings or even reading or any kind of thinking about the reality, because the self is there. So what is helpful is hearing the words which talk about the present moment. So which has to detach from the idea of the self lasting, from the self which can have control of the thinking, like now. and yeah, it's the subtlety of the teachings needs very careful considering and very careful listening.
Yeah, I think the point that you're making too, Alberto, especially when you allude to the subtlety, because we know there are so many different layers and levels of subtlety, and we can perhaps begin to appreciate the more grosser levels of subtlety, if I can put it that way, that are needed in the development of understanding. There has to be Ajahn was talking about the three levels, the three different aspects, the three different wattas, pariyatti, patipatti, and patiweda. They will have within them many different levels of understanding, and the more the reality that you're alluded to of the present moment is appreciated and understood, and the path that leads to that development of understanding, the better. And, as you said, that so-called influential monk or the head monk is just somebody saying a particular point of view, and that needs always to be considered carefully in the light of the teachings, as the Buddha himself said, and that's actually in the Mahaparinibbana Sutta, that no matter, a really, somebody, you go to see somebody, and even in the Sangha, and he spoke to that truth, that you need to consider carefully what that person is saying, whoever they are, and compare it with the teachings. And it's so easy to be misled into thinking that somebody tells us to do something else, and there's not the careful consideration of the Dhamma as it appears, as it is, then there will be more ditthupādana and more straying away from the path of development, which really can only be in the present, can only relate to the present. It's not over there, or it's not in another place. It relates to the here and now, not tomorrow, but it relates to the present moment. And even though that can sound to people rather cliched, it's about careful consideration, and as you were saying, about the subtlety of Dhamma, and the more that's appreciated, the less there will be to clinging to a certain type of method or a certain type of practice, if you like. Yeah. Thanks for that, Alberto.
Yeah, it's the idea of self, which is the dear enemy. Who is dearer than oneself? I can think of anyone dearer than myself.
Tana Janka, I'm aware that we're getting towards the end of the session. We would all appreciate if you share a few words with us before you leave us this morning, or wherever you are. It's not this morning over here, but might be wherever, different evening time for you, Alberto. Tana Janka.
Yes, I think that anytime we come together, we talk about the truth. Is that right? Just talk about the truth of what is there. Because it's there, but who knows the truth of it? What is it? That's why we keep on talking about the truth of it from the word we heard from the Buddha, the enlightened one. See, can we know anything without listening to the truth? And then right understanding is not enough at all to understand the truth of what he has enlightened. That's why we learn to understand carefully and have confidence of the truth. The truth is the truth, cannot be changed. But the understanding of the truth is not just in a moment, but it takes lifetime, from life to life, to understand the truth of seeing right now. If we don't talk about seeing, we don't talk about what is there in life at all, how can there be the understanding of birth and death and birth and death, on and on? Just the idea that one has thought about it by accumulation from what is experienced in life years and years ago. But what is the truth, the ultimate truth of this moment? Can it be known? If no one wants to understand it, no one can change it. But since the truth can be known, it depends on whether one is so truthful to the truth to understand what is true and what is not true. To be the one who do not have wrong understanding, not understand anything at all, just live from birth to death. That's all. And what happens in a day, seeing, hearing, smelling, different situation and so on, different moment of pleasant and unpleasant object, and different ideas, just thinking about that, which is not there at all, each moment. That's why we learn to understand the truth. But the truth is so very subtle. That's why we come together to talk about the truth, to consider what is the truth and what is not the truth, what is right and what is not right. For example, there is seeing right now. Why do we talk about it? Because if we don't talk about it at all, how can it be known? That actually the idea of I see, where's the I? At moment of seeing, there is seeing. What is it? A reality which arises and experiences the object which is seen. Even very short terms about it, it cannot be realized instantly, but begin not to forget that the truth of seeing is that it's not there anymore. As soon as it has risen, see, and then gone. That's all. Each moment, as soon as attachment arises, it's gone. So it's the word of that which is conditioned to arise, no one at all. Nothing can be controlled, nothing can be wished for to be such and such, because they're conditions for what is there now arises. And what we're talking about, it has a reason. Thinking, see, talking, hearing, and so on. They're all there unknown, that they are not there anymore. As soon as they arise, they fall away, never to return, never to arise again in samsara. So when the idea of someone I like or something I want, at that moment, it can be moment of understanding what is there. Wanting, wishing, craving, hoping, is there all day. By conditions, why not hatred? Why not dislike it? Why not letting go of, so on. See, that's why we learn to understand what is there in truth. And understanding will condition all kinds of wholesome moments. Comparing moment of experiencing that which is unwholesome and that which is wholesome with understanding. See, understanding the truth will condition to be understanding person, not just dislike this person as usual, but disliking is a reality. It harms that person at moment of disliking. See, no one can harm, no one can do anything, all conditioned by accumulation. When there's a little more understanding, it can see what is rubbish. It's gone, but it can be conditioned for thinking with hatred or attachment and so on. Well, it's not there at all again. That's why we learn to understand the impermanence of life. It's so impermanent. Birth and then seeing, hearing, smelling, thinking, on, and then die. No more. So what's the use of that which has arisen and fallen away each moment, never arise again at all? Only they cling the idea, cling to whatever is there, as it not as it is, clinging to that with the I when there's no I. See? That's why just learn about the truth by When we meet, we talk about the truth of what is there to be known little by little, to realize the truth. And the understanding is quite different from wrong understanding. That's why we listen again and again and again about the truth to understand whether it's true or not. Seeing is conditioned. While we are talking, they're seeing. While we're eating, they're seeing. So seeing is there. Who makes it arise? Impossible, because it's there already. Thinking about trying to have something arise is so wrong, because what is there is there already. Thinking is there already. Wanting is there already. That's why just attend to that which is there little by little. Otherwise, there can not be the moment of understanding the truth at all. It's gone. And what is there is the object of no attention, no studying, no considering. So how can there be the understanding of the truth of what is there when it appears only? Is that true? Just learn to understand what is true and what is not true. Can anyone change the truth? That's all. And the truth is much more than we are talking about in the beginning at all. Much more than that, each word. Just what about what is there? One reality at a time. Ignorance is not attachment, see? So where am I? Ignorance is there. A reason my condition is gone. Where am I? No I. Only the idea, wrong understanding, not understanding what is there so permanent. So it's I or something or someone. What is true? Just come together and talk about the truth to understand what is true or not true. Is that right?
True, Tanajan,
Yes.
true.
Yes, true,
Thank-
Thana.
ค่ะ
Thank
ส
you,
วัสดีค่ะ I
thank
think
you
it's
so much, Tanajan.
Thanajan.
สวัสดีค่ะท่านอาจารย์
I'm very, very grateful, Tanajan.
สวัสดีครับ